Hey everyone, and welcome to today's very special video. Before we get started, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone that's been part of this adventure. I know I say this a lot, and I probably sound like a broken record, but the growth of this channel would not have been possible without you. I started TogeTips as a passion project to promote both my love of filmmaking and Pokemon, and with all your support, it has grown far beyond anything I could have thought possible. I'm truly blessed to be part of such an amazing and supportive community. So what's so special about today's video? Well, yesterday we celebrated a full year of TogeTips on YouTube, which is absolutely insane. To celebrate the anniversary, I thought it'd be fun to talk about my Pokemon Go story and reflect on my journey. I'll discuss how I started, where I'm at, and how this game has made an impact on me. But before we get into my story, let me know down in the comments about your experience with Pokemon Go. When did you start? What level are you? And are there any specific moments you've had with the game that really stand out to you? One of my favorite aspects about the game is the community, and I thought this would be a fun way to engage with everyone. As a filmmaker, I consider the story to be the most important part of the creative process, so let's fill the comments section with as many stories as we can. Now without further ado, let's get into the story. So like many players, my adventure began during the summer of 2016. I wasn't really interested in the game at first, but I was talked into downloading it by a couple college friends. We spent a few hours each week driving around and catching Pokemon. Not at the same time, of course. It was from these experiences that the game started to grow on me. Going out and catching Pokemon in the real world was an exciting concept, and not to mention a lot of fun. But unfortunately, because of all the bugs and lack of diverse spawns, my hype for the game began to fade, as it did for a lot of other trainers who started on day one. I officially stopped playing when I accidentally broke my phone screen in September, so after only a couple months, I thought my Pokemon journey had come to an end. I wouldn't re-download Pokemon Go until the end of 2017. After graduating from college, one of my friends persuaded me to reinstall the app. Since I was heading down to Florida to do a Disney internship, he figured it would be a fun send-off before I started my next life endeavor. Now I'll admit, I was very surprised to see the improvements made to the game in just over a year. The game ran much more smoothly, and the variety of wild Pokemon made this time around feel fresh and invigorating. I also enjoyed participating in the recently introduced Pokemon raids. This was also the only way to obtain legendary Pokemon, which are some of my favorites. So over the next month, my friend and I would stroll around campus and several parks searching for rare Pokemon. It was really fun going to locations that we'd either never been to or haven't been to in quite some time. We also learned quite a bit, like how 3 level 18 trainers were way out of their league challenging Groudon to a raid battle. Now at this time, I only expected to keep the game installed for about a month. Once I got to Disney, I figured that work would keep me busy and there wouldn't be much to do at Disney World. Boy was I wrong. I went to Disney Springs with my best friend Bradley on our first night down, and it was here that I realized that Disney was a massive Pokemon playground. The Springs had 5 gyms on property and more stops than I could count. It was insane, and not only were the stops and Pokemon in large supply, but so was the community. Being a vacation destination, lots of players were around, so raids filled up to the max in about 10 seconds. It was pretty awesome. When Swablu's Shiny was first released, I joined a small group of players who were bar hopping around Springs. It didn't matter that we had just met, but the fact that we played Pokemon together was enough to be friendly, which was really nice. So most of my Pokemon Go adventure was played in Florida. Not only did I use the app as a tool to help stay more active, but also as a way to explore my new area. My adventures took me to tons of new places, including the Saratoga Springs Resort and Dr. Phillips Community Park. The resort was relatively quiet outside of nature sounds, so it made for a relaxing area to hunt for Pokemon. It also had a breathtaking view of Disney Springs from the river path. Along with these benefits, it also helped me adjust and make friends in the area. I met a lot of trainers during my weekly Pogo adventures, and even if we didn't communicate on a regular basis, I caught up with many of them during raid hours and calm days. It was always a blast raiding with my local crew at Epcot. Things were going great until March 2020, which was set to be a pretty big month for Pogo. With the debut of the Go Battle League, cool events, and new shiny raid bosses, there was a lot for trainers to look forward to. When COVID-19 was declared a global pandemic, many of those events were either postponed or canceled. It was also a really rough time at Disney. At first, we were told that Disney would shut down for only 2 weeks. That 2 weeks was extended to a month and then an unknown amount of time. It was really nerve-wracking, but one of the few things that kept me going and not falling into a slump was Pokemon Go. Many of the stops around my apartment were either in gated communities or hotels, neither of which were accessible during lockdown. But when Niantic added the pandemic bonuses, I could reach these stops when I went out on my morning walks. You know, I consider myself a night owl, so it's crazy to think that Pokemon Go turned me into a morning person at one point. I also had several gyms in my area, but prior to COVID, there was never enough players around to take down raid bosses. Fortunately, I made several friends around my area who were also in lockdown, and the introduction of remote raid passes allowed us all to raid together. July 2020 was also one of my favorite months of that year because I got to participate in my first ever GoFest celebration. I was planning to go with a few of my friends to the GoFest in Chicago that summer, though it never came to fruition. We were able to play in one of the local parks in our area, so I guess it turned out for the better. Towards the end of the summer, I moved back home due to COVID struggles. It was a surprising change of pace compared to how busy Orlando used to be. It was also around this time that I decided to start a YouTube channel. I've always had a passion for video production, and for years I've been meaning to start making videos on a regular basis. I was also inspired by watching other Pokemon YouTubers, including TrainerTips and Zoe2Dots. And with that, TogeTips came to be. When I first started, my goal was to release one video a week with various tips, news, updates, and more for various Pokemon games. While I'm nowhere near an expert, I hope that some of my experiences would help newer trainers who encounter the same hurdles that I did. Over time, I became friends with a lot of up-and-coming content creators. Amongst those were PokeMegan, Snow Phoenix, Littletown Gamer, Mystic Fourth Force, and more. Some of their videos even inspired some of my own projects. Things went pretty smoothly through the fall, and then in December, my brother Chris came home for the holidays and helped with some of the graphics on the channel. We had a great bonding experience as he taught me how to use Adobe After Effects and Photoshop. And overall, I'd say it had a really big impact on the growth of my channel. Overall, this game helped me forge lifelong friendships, persevere through the pandemic, and really begin to discover myself. And this was only amplified when I started my channel. It's been a blast engaging with you all, and it's really turned my life around for the better. I wouldn't be where I'm at currently if it wasn't for you. So once again, thank you. Now, we're in the final stretch of 2021. I'm currently level 44 and about a quarter of the way to 45. I've caught 674 shinies, including my favorite Pokemon, Dialga. I haven't caught a Togetic just yet, which I really hope to change because, you know, it's the mascot of the channel. Looking at the future of TogeTips, we have a lot in the works, with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl releasing in November, as well as Legends Arceus coming early next year. We have a ton of cool videos to bring you guys about those games. Regardless of what happens next, I know that everything's going to be okay. So once again, thank you all so much for supporting me on this incredible endeavor. And that concludes my Pokemon Go story, though it's not truly over as it continues to evolve, just as yours will. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen, and be sure to leave a comment with your own Pokemon Go story. And if you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. We have a lot of anniversary plans in the works that are going to be announced soon. So until next time, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.